What is up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? My name is Naomi. Welcome to House of Miscellania. Today I'm coming at you with a WIP and chat. WIP stands for work in progress, and chat, I'm going to chat for about an hour, and then, at the end, I read a tarot card as our thought for the week. I'm going to get these out of the way, though, because they're not going to be necessary until the end. I have in front of me my tools. I am using a pen here from Diamond Pen Pal. This is the Satura pen. You can find Diamond Pen Pal on Etsy. There will be links to everything down in the description. In my single placer on here, I am using Ghost from Diamond Painting Daily. It is like a glue dot. It's a liquid that is white, and it becomes a solid and turns clear when it dries. It's, like I said, just like a glue dot, and it is amazing stuff. Love this stuff. I use it constantly. And then in my multi-placer here, I have a sample of the Blue Sage or Butch scent from Diamond Art Emporium. It is a sample. I really like this stuff, and I am considering making a purchase because I actually really enjoy it. The tray that I am using is from Firefly. This is the Switch Mini Max tray from Firefly. It has a removable lid and a removable trash tray, which I usually do, and then an open and close pour spout, along with a hole in the top where you can put your diamond painting pen so it doesn't roll away. Pretty fantastic. The diamond painting that I am working on, let me get that out for you, is from Diamond Art Club. It is a Rita Konya / Aria illustrations. It is Mermaid Empress. The Mermaid Empress by Rita Konya. I love this piece. I am up over in here right now. I'm getting very close to finished with this one. She hasn't taken too long at all, which I kind of sort of love. I made notes, you guys, because I have had a week, okay? I'm hoping I don't have to try and add in too many images because, well, I guess it won't be too bad if I add some images in, because a lot of things, just random stuff happened this week, so I figure, why not share with everybody, and you guys can maybe have a laugh or two along with me. And these aren't in any particular order of like what day they were, because Lord knows I'll never freaking remember. But I've been having an interesting week, to say the least. Nothing like busy, just weird stuff. I continue to struggle with that freaking red-winged blackbird. I actually... So right after this red-winged blackbird pegs me in the head 3 times, I mean, like, bam, 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 she hits me as I'm just walking along. I didn't have the dogs with me, so I'm walking along and I, like, cross paths with this younger guy, I don't know, maybe in his 20s, whatever, and I'm thinking to myself, like, do I warn him? Do I not warn him? Do I just let him get hit by this frickin' red-winged blackbird that is, like, just, you know, she's just protecting her young, you know, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm not feeling magnanimous today. I'm just gonna let him find out for himself. So right after I, like, make it almost down to the corner, and I managed to turn around and got a video of this kid. Now, I am not including the video because it's so, like, he's so teeny in the picture. You can't see where the bird hits him. You just hear where I'm giggling. This kid getting pegged in the head, but she got him a good couple of times. Just bam, bam, right in the back of his dome. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I am certain that I lost karma points for that, but I kind of don't care. I just needed it. It was like, sometimes God just fills your glass, and you just take it where you can get it. And honestly, after I had just been pegged in the head, and I'm certain the guy that was across the street from me at the time got to see the whole thing, so I'm sure he was laughing about it, then I got to schadenfreude and watch somebody else get nailed by this frickin' red-winged blackbird that's always waiting for me, always watching. So that was pretty awesome. There was also a day, Dustin and I, we go walking on the bike trails, and we always stop after, like, we go all the way out to where we're going to go, and we're on our way back, and we always stop at this bridge. And that's where, Beans gets a little rest. We sit and bird listen or bird watch or whatever, and we're looking across in this dead tree, and we see what we couldn't figure it out at first. We were pretty sure it was a turkey. We started making random turkey sounds at it. It wasn't responding because, turkeys are kind of dumb. They'll usually respond, but she just sort of cocked her head like, what's happening? But we never could get her to actually, like, respond. She ended up flying away when Beans and I went down into, like, next to the creek that she was overlooking, and she flew off, and we figured out for sure that it was a turkey, because at first we were thinking it was like a cormorant or something. Those aren't native, so it's possible it would, stop through on its way to somewhere else, but no, it was definitely a turkey. And then, like, next day, same exact spot, there was a bald eagle just sitting there. And unfortunately, because of the distance that it is, you can't make it out in the picture. So I thought, I won't include it. But did get to see a bald eagle just hanging out, watching the river, so we sat and watched that pretty silently. I managed to forage some wild strawberries, and, like, wild strawberries are not like regular strawberries in that, like a regular strawberry, they're huge, right? Like, you get a strawberry, they're this freaking big, but these wild strawberries are like this big. So you get basically, I guess the taste of a strawberry on your tongue, but you don't really get to eat strawberries. It would take many, many, many of them to actually give you, like, a mouthful of strawberry. So been just sort of picking up little random baby tiny strawberries, wild strawberries, and munching on those while we walk. While munching, it's more like that's about what you get out of a wild strawberry. They're tiny. And then let's see. Okay, little gross, but this week I ended up, and I don't know how it happened. I mean, granted, it can happen from a lot of different things. I ended up with a sty in my eye this week. It was awful. This last week, it was awful. I put a warm compress on it 3 different freaking times. It did nothing for me. I thought maybe I had essentially, like, made it better. I didn't. I made it worse. My left eye swelled like ridiculous. I looked ridiculous. I looked like a bee stung me in my eye, and I just sort of went, well, that's my life now. I tried ice, I tried heat, I tried everything, and it took probably, I don't know, 4 solid days before it actually went back down to a normal size again, to where I could see. And then I was walking along, and all of a sudden, like, my vision got cloudy, and I was like, uh-oh. So it must have finally just taken care of itself. But oh man, it was painful. I couldn't rub my eye because you don't want to touch your eyes when you have a sty. It's not good. I didn't wear any makeup. I didn't mess with it because I just didn't want to have any issues. So I don't know if you, like, I couldn't figure out, like, maybe because of where we walk on the trails, there's always these tiny little gnats. Like, maybe I got a gnat in my eye because they're always trying to fly in my mouth and fly up my nose. I don't really know what it was that caused it, but ugh, they're just horrible, because then people look at you like you're a grotesque monster because you got this big swollen eye. You can't go about your normal business because people are looking at you like Quasimodo or something with a freaking swollen eye. But it did finally go away, which is good, because I'll tell you what, I could not. Um, and then, uh, at least it's finally gone, because it was not fun. Uh, I had a strange kind of moment this week. It was like, Dustin and I, when we go driving anywhere, he's usually in charge of the playlist. Like, he'll put on Pandora. It's some random set of songs that he's gonna play, and I just listen to whatever. I don't care. It's his vehicle. You can put on whatever music he wants. And if I didn't like it, I would just say, hey, can we change it to something else? Well, I ended up asking him at one point if we could listen to, I think the official title for the track is called Your House by Alanis Morissette. If you remember the days of like CDs, right? It was at the end of Jagged Little Pill. If you let the CD keep playing, it would play a hidden track, and it was this song, Your House. Well, I told him I wanted to listen to it, so we asked Pandora, to the Google whatever in his car on Pandora to play the song, and it chooses a live version. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm one of those people, I never prefer the live version of songs. Most singers, honestly, they kind of can't sing their own music, or it's different from what you're used to hearing, whatever. Anyway, it played the live version. It worked because I just wanted to kind of hear the song. I was feeling nostalgic for some, 90s Alanis Morissette. So I listened to the song. We're still driving around. Almost dropped my pen. We're still driving around, kind of doing our thing, whatever. And it then, where it had been playing like kind of some 90s dude music, like grunge, alternative, whatever, now it was starting to play some 90s women, which I like just fine. I was always into the ladies of Lilith Fair and whatnot. It plays some Sheryl Crow. It plays some Paula Cole. It's kind of going through the gamut of Lilith Fair. I think at one point it played an upbeat, one of Sarah McLachlan's more upbeat songs. I don't know that she actually wrote any really upbeat songs. But we start to get closer to the house, and in order to make sense of what I'm going to tell you, I have to kind of give you a little backstory. So, little backstory is like where to begin. Okay, so my mom has always encouraged me to sing, and I loved to sing, but not necessarily for people. Like, I would sing with and for my mom. She would always make me sing things like for our family, which always was embarrassing. And I sang in a band because my mom really wanted me to, but it wasn't something that I was like really into doing publicly necessarily. When I was about 10 years old, my mom put me in this contest here in the Midwest. Used to be at the Dane County Coliseum in Madison, and it was called the Great Midwest Talent Search, which would have been like a star search sort of thing. It was a competition where you would perform some talent, whatever your talent was, and they would narrow it down to first, second, and third place winners based on votes from specific judges. And I had auditioned for this particular talent search, and I auditioned with a song called Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid. I ended up winning third place out of, I don't even know. It felt like we went on, the whole talent search or talent show went on for, I think it was 2 or 3 days of different, sets of people performing. And it was everything from like country line dancing to singing. Well, I got third place out of a lot of people, which I'm, very happy about. I didn't think that I would get that far. Some of it was like, makes you wonder if it was just because I was a little kid. But I took third place to a barbershop quintet that sang For the Longest Time, Billy Joel, and a music teacher who sang opera and was very trained. So I feel good about that, right? So my mom always encouraged me. From a young age, my mom always encouraged me, embarrassingly encouraged me to sing. I would always end up in the variety shows at school. One year in middle school, I sang Aladdin's part for Part of Your World with another girl in my grade at our variety show at school. I was always involved in music in some kind of way. I was in choir. I played the violin. Music has always been very important in my life. And my mom is also a singer, or was a singer, but she never did anything with it. She never attempted to pursue music, to my knowledge. If she did, it was always only karaoke. And so as I got older and, I did the band that I was in, I was a lead singer for a band. The name of that band, I've talked about it randomly, I'm sure. But the name of the band was Venus Envy because I was the single only female in it, but I was the lead singer. So with a bunch of guys in the band, I thought it would be funny to call it Venus Envy because I was the lead singer. And we did all kinds of shows, whatever. Well, prior to that, I used to run karaoke. It was my way to make some extra money on the weekends. And I would get to sing. My mom would sing. My brothers were always there. It was a family affair. It was always a family affair. And so, oops, wrong one. So the fact that, karaoke was always a thing and whatever, and based on when I was running karaoke, the songs that were really popular to sing at karaoke were always 90s, early 2000s songs, and I sang in my band and at karaoke. I always sang 90s women, Sheryl Crow, Paula Cole, Sean Colvin, and specifically Jewel. And I was obsessed with Jewel, and I could mimic her sound in my opinion, very well. And I don't compliment myself often, but I will compliment myself on the fact that I could sound very much like Jewel. And so as I was growing up, and we had lived in Madison when, Jewel became famous, and, she lived out of her van. She was just basically like a nobody, and lived in her van and tried to make something of herself. She did open mic nights with her guitar, and, she was like a rags to riches kind of story, although not really rags because her family had money. It doesn't matter. But she became very big, right? And I think in my mom's kind of sort of way, A, because I loved to sing it, and B, because I sounded like her. My mom used to have me sing Jewel in the car to her, and one of her favorite songs was You Were Meant for Me. Well, back to Dustin and I are driving around, we're listening to music, and my mom, you can see on my wrist here, my mom's birthday is in May on the 15th, and she died in March of 2019, which was just over 6 years ago now. She's kind of been on my mind, I think about her a lot, actually, and not necessarily in a, I'm always crying about it kind of way or whatever. In fact, her birthday and her death anniversary kind of came and went this year, and while yes, it did, I thought about it, and it definitely crossed my mind and whatnot. It wasn't something that I necessarily settled or focused on, because I kind of feel like, settling and focusing on things that make you sad is maybe not the way to be. And if you can think about happier memories, that you should do that. And so I did. I didn't try to focus on the sadness part of it. I tried to focus on the fact that just that I miss her and I love her, and go on from there. Well, we're in the car, and we're we're pulling into the driveway, and the song had started, and there's a line in You Were Meant for Me, and it was always like my mom's favorite line, and it's I called my mama, she was out for a walk, consoled a cup of coffee, but it didn't want to talk. And I always thought about my mom when I sang that line at karaoke. I always think about my mom when I hear it. And I was singing it in the car with Dustin, and I don't know what it was, but it just, like, missing her hit me like just a brick to the face. And I started crying out of just nowhere, just crying. And for a minute, I was embarrassed. Like, I felt, Dustin understands, like, he knows how my mom and I were close, but we were also always fighting, and it was complicated. And, he and my mom, they had their moments too. And so he just kind of, rubs my shoulder, just letting me know that he's there and that he understands and he cares. And I sat and listened to the whole song in the driveway and just cried. And a part of me was not expecting it, because it's been a long time since I just cried about my mom, or I cried randomly at anything. And so I remember after finishing the song, listening to the song, and kind of wiping my tears before coming to the house, because I knew that at least one of the kids would be home. My son was here. I noticed he wasn't on, VR chat or whatever, that he wasn't busy at the moment. And I just kind of said, hey, can I can I hug you? Like, can I have a hug? And thankfully he said yes. He didn't give me some weird, like, what? He did kind of give me a questioning, you all right? But he gave me a hug, and I really needed it. I explained, what had happened, and it doesn't happen that much anymore. But I thought about her. I thought about her a lot this week. And so, not bad. I tried to focus on all the ways that having her in my life was important and special, and why I miss her, and just good things. But yeah, it was one of those smacks you in the face moments, and I don't have them very often, but man, when I do, it can be lonely. And I didn't talk to anybody about it after. Like, I didn't tell any people on Discord, and I just kind of kept it to myself. I didn't want to make it a thing, It was very private. It was very it was just a moment, it was a moment in time, and I'm sharing it now because I've had time to process it a little bit and figure out, like, not why it happened. I mean, obviously I know why it happened. I had a memory and, whatever, but just to process that, like, it's okay to do that still, even though it's been 6 years. Like, a part of me goes, like, it's been 6 years. Why are you crying about it? Because I don't often, like I said, I try not to dwell on those things, because I think that really keeping a memory of somebody so, like, squeezed tight isn't good for you. It's like, at a certain point, yeah, you kind of have to move on with your life and make the decision to do that. But there's also, I feel like, an appropriate time to just let life smack you in the face every now and again. And, well, that was my turn. Apparently, that was my turn. But I don't want to dwell on sadness, because it really wasn't sad. It was honestly like a very happy memory that I had, because karaoke was something that my mom loved, and I made a pretty all right living running karaoke, and I had some really fantastic times with friends at karaoke. And so, like, I regret nothing. Nothing is regretted. Nothing makes me sad about thinking about karaoke, and so it was all good. It was just like a loneliness for those times, and a feeling almost of, like, my own mortality, because I'm not a young kid anymore. I'm growing up and becoming more of who I'm going to be, for the rest of my life, the person that I'm going to be. And so I don't look on it with sadness, but I definitely look on it with, like, a, we're here as long as we're here, and it is what it is, But I definitely feel better having kind of processed it. Even talking about it right now out loud, I feel better. Just thinking on the good times and that moment of vulnerability, and that moment of kind of, I don't want to say weakness, because it's not weak to feel. It's not weak to miss someone. It's not weakness, but it can feel like it is when you don't know where to put it, when you don't know where it goes, what to what to do with it, I guess. And so now that I have a better understanding of where it came from, why it happened, why it was important even to feel it, I do feel better for it, you know? So there's that. I feel like there may have even been times throughout this last week where I had been kind of preemptively getting a message of, you know, look fondly back at times in your life and where you've come from and where you've gone and how much you've grown. Because really, as a human being, I have to stop every now and again and give myself some credit for how much I've grown. And I hope you do the same when you're looking back on things in your life or looking forward on things in your life and just accepting and smiling and realizing that you're not the person who you were 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 2 years ago, that you're growing and you're changing and you're learning. And it's good to just stop every now and again and take stock. And I guess that's what it felt like I did, is stop for a minute and take stock. And I regret nothing. I regret nothing. Anyways, no more kind of, I guess, sad but not sad topics. Wow. Look at this dog. What the hell was that? Sugar, what did you do? Just barked and about made me pee my pants. Go on now. The heck was that? All right. Huh. Oh my God, you guys. Speaking of peeing my pants, no, I did not pee my pants. Although, honestly, after all of the karma I've probably waged on myself, Lord knows that'll happen next, right? Because I'm pretty sure I talked about peeing my pants, like, last whip and chat. In fact, I did not. Okay. Rewind. It was the weekend, and Dustin had decided to take. I had gone to bed. It was like late, really late in the morning. Maybe, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I go to sleep, and Dustin had gotten up. It was Sunday morning? Doesn't even matter. It was the weekend. Dustin was home. He gets up and decides to take Beans for a morning walk because he's awake. He's, pacing, doing whatever he does in the morning when I'm sleeping. Decided to take Beans. Well, apparently while he was out and they were walking, he lets Beans go into the river when they're walking on the bike path because Beans likes to go in the river. Well, I'm sure he thought, like he usually does, that Beans will go in the river, then they continue their walk. By the time that he gets back to the car, Beans is relatively dry. I would not describe him as dry, okay? His undercoat is still very wet. Well, Beans goes for his walk. Dustin gets back home. He decides, does some more stuff, blah, 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 whatever, and decides that he's going to go take a nap because I'm still sleeping. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go take a nap. Well, not thinking anything of the fact that when he goes to sleep and Beans is no longer being entertained by anybody or walked by anybody or whatever, that he's going to do one of two things, because this is what he does every single time that I am asleep and Dustin's at work, or Dustin's home and sleeping, and I happen to also be sleeping, he will either, one, lay on the landing so that he's kind of guarding everybody in the house. He'll lay on the landing to the stairs because upstairs is where all the bedrooms are. And he can kind of, keep an eye on everything. Or B, he will lay on the floor in the bedroom where I am sleeping, which is my daughter's old room, so that I don't bother anybody. I'm not waking anybody up to get in there at, 5 in the morning, whatever. So Dustin's sleeping in our room. I am sleeping in my daughter's room. Or, so he'll either sleep on the floor there, or he will get into the bed with me while I'm sleeping and kind of, make the room for himself that he needs to, because, he's humongous and needs space, and he'll just create it for himself. And I just sort of like make myself small so he can fit in my sleep. Okay. Dustin goes for his walk. He comes back home. He decides to go for a nap. Beans decides that he is going to get into bed with me. All right. Now, I felt him get into the bed. Like, I recalled that in my sleep, I guess, kind of. Like, I kind of knew it was happening subconsciously, like, in my sleep, but I didn't pay any attention to it because he kind of curled up behind me, and, like, where the backs of my knees were, he was, like, laying right here. If this is my butt, like, he's laying right here, okay? And all is well, all is warm. It was actually kind of cold in the house, so having him curled up right behind my legs was fine. Didn't think anything of it. Consciously kind of knew he was there, went back to sleep. Well, I remember, like, waking up all of a sudden, and I'm, like, cold, and my butt is wet. And I was like, what happened? Like, did I pee and I didn't, like, wake up? I'm, like, feeling the bed, like, half awake, feeling the whole bed, and the whole bed is wet on the blanket. It's wet. And I'm like, oh my God, did I pee the bed? I get up, like, my butt's cold. I'm cold, because he's been, at this point, gone probably 5 minutes, and now my butt has been exposed to the air. And I swear to God, I was convinced I pissed the bed. Then I realized that, like, when I put my hand up to my face to smell my hand, because all right, I'm not too proud to say that I wanted to know if it was pee. So I'm like, I sniff my hand and I'm like, it smells like wet dog. And then I realized when I got up, like, actually fully got up, Beans at this point was laying on the floor. He comes over and I pet his head, and his head is wet. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. He was laying behind me on the bed and just happened to make me think I had peed myself. So Dustin got a talking to when he got up from his nap, because I was like, thanks for letting me convince myself that I peed the bed. And I had to explain to him, like, yeah, it was warm until he got up, and then all of a sudden it's cold and wet, and I'm thinking I peed myself in the bed. He's like, yeah, he kind of didn't care. He thought it was pretty hilarious. You son of a biscuit. So, did not wet the bed in that event. Oh, you know how I had a really lucky last week and the week before with all of the 4-leaf clovers and whatever? Oh, this week was even luckier. Okay. Hold on. I gotta go get something. Hold on. Okay, so Dustin is all proud of himself because he found a penny heads up. And he's like, ooh, look what I found. because I had told him I'd had all these 4-leaf clovers. I'd been, you know, eating them or whatever, that I must be storing up my luck for something, because holy crap, I'd had a lot of luck. Well, he found his one penny heads up. Well, so I found 2 quarters heads up. And I was like, oh man, okay, so if you found a penny and I found 2 quarters, like, that's a lot of luck. Well, so I'm like, all right, cool. My luck must be building up for something, because I don't know what's going on, but apparently I must need this luck that keeps showing up. Well, then I'm the same day that I find the 2 quarters, I'm walking along and I see something on the ground, okay? And I pick it up, realizing what it is. I picked it up and I texted Dustin. And this is what I sent to him in a text message. I said, okay, Dustin, if a rabbit's foot is lucky, how lucky is a rabbit's tail? A bunny tail. And he's like, bad luck for the bunny. I was like, well, true. Here's the thing, all right? Now, this bunny tail that I saw sitting on the ground, I knew what it was immediately. I saw it, I knew what it was. There's no other parts of this bunny. It's in an area where there's lots of cats all the time, and I think that probably a cat like grabbed a hold of the back end of the bunny and was able to just like grab a hold of its tail, and it dropped its tail and just took off. So I imagine this tailless bunny somewhere in my neighborhood, because you can see right here where it was attached to the bunny, okay? No other parts of the bunny, just the tail. And here is this beautiful little, now lucky bunny tail that I have. It's a little baby bunny tail. Baby tiny little bunny tail. So not good luck for the bunny, but good luck for me. We'll say it's good luck for me. Or at least that's what I'm going with. I was like, what in the heck? So I don't know what my luck is building up for, you guys. I'm a little nervous if I keep getting all of these signs of good luck. Like, should I be concerned? Because either something's going down that I need all of this luck for, or I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous, because it's like, I don't think a person should be building it up this much unless there's some fall coming. And I'm like, oh my God. So I've been, I don't know, I'm not going to say praying, but I've definitely been meditating on the idea that whatever is coming, that at least I should be prepared for it. Like I have everything that I need. I have all the warning that I need, and I should be able to like manage anything that comes along at this point, because I've got all the luck I need. I've got more than I probably need. So I just better prepare myself, right? Like, how do you prepare yourself for whatever I would need this much luck for? I don't know. I do not know. But I'm hoping it's nothing awful. I'm hoping something good is coming. Maybe I need to go and buy a lottery ticket. I don't know. What do you think? You get a lottery ticket? Because, yeah, I don't know what is happening, but something is happening. A little freaky deaky. That's what I figure. Some freaky deakiness. All the freaky deakiness. Anyways, yeah, that's been my week. It's been a weird one, between getting to watch a bird peck somebody in the head, and then finding bunny tails, seeing eagles. Oh, I got to see some baby praying mantises be born. That was, well, hatch from their pod or whatever, their little egg sac. I got to see them hatch out. That was pretty cool. on my porch. They like our trumpet vine. The moms always lay the eggs in the trumpet vine, and so one of the little egg sacs from last year finally burst open and had, I don't know, 1,000 praying mantises in it. It was really cool. So I get to see that happen. That was pretty neat. But it's just been a weird week. A weird week. And I don't mind them when they happen that way. At least it gives me something to talk about, you know, other than just whatever randomness I come up with for my whipping chats. But it was a good one. It was a really good one. And you got a bonus sugar shaming out of it. So there's always that. God, I don't even know what the heck that was about. I still don't know what that was about. Anyways, you guys, I am just about ready here to see what our tarot card has in store for us for our thought for the week. Because, yeah, I'm really curious. Is it going to say something this time about whatever this luck has to do with? Like, what should I be watching for? I'm nervous. I'm like, I hope nothing bad happens, because I don't need none of that. I don't need none of that. I'll take the easy way for 1,000, Alex. Oh, see, I put those away, and then I've got a whole bunch of that color that I needed to lay down right there. So I'm going to do that. Okay. So yeah, I'm nervous. I'm hoping that it'll give me at least a little bit of a clue, and then we'll go from there. Because yeah, there's got to be something, right? There's got to be. Okay. Let's hope the tarot card will tell me a little something about this luck that I'm storing up, okay? All right, let me grab those. Cover this back up for a second. All right, I've already shuffled, so let's see what the top card is. No boobies. Taden the Sylph. Taden the Sylph. She's cute. Look at her face. It's very cute. Taden the Sylph. All right. She says, I don't know if I've gotten her before. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, I'm still way too far back. All right, let me get to the page, and then let me get a drink real quick. All right, so acute intellect, quickness, mental synthesis, and discernment are the key words. It says, what we see here is mental quickness, adaptability, and enthusiasm. Ideas and opinions abound. A few are brilliant, but others vary from mediocre to downright silly. Be selective. Mental and psychic abilities may be awakening. Independent thinking is in operation. New ideas and new versions of old ideas are creating an exciting, effervescent atmosphere. Avoid excess and extremes. Minds may change often as new ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. Out of conflict and confusion, resolved by goodwill and clear thinking, a new and better understanding may come. Okay. New ideas and new ways of seeing bubble to the surface. So it says Taten can radically change direction without notice, more quickly than a hummingbird. And it talks about she's an awakener, one who startles us into seeing and thinking in new and exciting ways. She loves to sit in on teenage and college age discussions about the profound questions of life. She's full of bright ideas and willing to discuss them at length. She is not too bothered about whether the discussions make much sense or not. Ideas with wings are her joy, and mental stimulation is her game. She has inertialess flight. Like thought, she is not bound by the rules of mass and momentum and can radically change direction without notice. So I need to be full of curiosity, want to go everywhere, see everything, and have every question answered. She wants to know all, even the things that by their very nature cannot be known to the conscious mind. I am very adventurous, and I do like to know things. So it is possible that there is some question out there to be answered. And maybe, honestly, there is no answer to my question about what in the heck would I need all of this luck for. Maybe it's just more or less an open mind to the things that could come, and to be inertialess in my flight, and to be ready, to be adaptable, to be changeable. And I feel like I'm most of the way there all of the time. All those questions, all those whys, I am definitely there on that. I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes I think annoyingly so. I probably agitate people more often than not because I am always asking questions. And I never mean any harm by it. It's just I am a curious person. I just want to know why people do what they do, think what they think, say what they say. And it's not a judgment. It's just a genuine, why do you do it like that? And so if you've ever been on the receiving end of it, I apologize. It's usually just my very curiosity that does it, you know. It's just me wanting to learn and know more and to see more and to do more. So anyways, all right, you guys, I think what I will actually, what I will leave you with, I've been watching a lot of, like, Who Do You Think You Are is what it's called. It's like a show about, well, in this case, it's famous people who they like go on and they're looking for their roots. They're looking for their ancestors and things like that. And it has some really interesting stories. And I think I've had a real connection or affiliation or fascination lately with like family and where do you come from, why is a person the way that they are, what makes them tick. And I think maybe that's part of where things regarding my own family came to light. I also randomly got a text message from my daughter regarding my sister, whom I haven't talked to in a while. We had a little bit of a falling out the last conversation. And so maybe there's also something to be discovered and seen and said for family. And I am just maybe about to like embark on something that in the past I have needed a little bit of luck with dealing with. And so maybe that's where some of it is coming from, is like, okay, there's something about family that I'm gonna need that extra oomph or whatever from. I've often found that when I get these kinds of messages from the world, kind of, you know, that saying like someone's trying to tell me something. Well, in a lot of cases, I have this feeling like something is trying to tell me someone. And so I may listen a little more closely to see if it is, in fact, someone trying to tell me something or something trying to tell me someone, because both can be true, you know. Just depends on who you are and what messages that you believe are out there in the universe for you to hear. So I'll be listening. I'm hoping that at least I'll learn something about it. I'll learn something from it and go from there, I guess. That's the best I can do, right? It's not what you do. You just take it with a grain of salt and do your best. And that's what I'll do. Anyway. All right, you guys. I think that's all I've got for you as far as, you know, my week is concerned. I hope that you found some entertainment in there. And bonus, I didn't pee my pants. It was just Beans getting the bed wet. Very relieved. Very, very relieved that after all, I did not pee in my pants. You know, you gotta be thankful for the little things, right? Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed yourself. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, language, and subscribe if you're into diamond painting content. And I hope if you are somewhere out there in this great, big, wide, wonderful, beautiful world of ours, that you are having a lucky, a safe, a warm, a wonderful morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever time it is, wherever you are. And I have a little piece of advice, just like I've been doing lately, my closing thoughts. Here you go. Pet every dog that you see, unless the owner says no, and then pet them with your eyeballs, because they love it. All right. Talk to you guys later. Bye.